One afternoon, a man sprints down to his basement to document something that had just unfolded. He explains that he'd heard the sound of footsteps coming from the staircase, which was unsettling given that nobody should have been down there. Armed with his camera, he heads in hoping to catch whatever tends to go on in that space when it's left empty. Here's what the footage revealed.
Oh my! What are you doing there? Who are you?
I got you good.
Oh yes you did. Oh, you got my heart good.
Without any warning, a toy ball launches itself directly at the man as if thrown by an invisible hand. The sudden jolt was more than enough to send him scrambling for the door, cutting the recording short. What took place after that remains unclear, but from the little information provided, it seems the man and his family have been keeping their distance from that basement ever since. Even without much backstory, the clip itself is more than enough to send a chill down your spine. TikTok user going by the name Joseph Stalin Loves You uploaded this brief piece of footage with zero context and no lead up, just a handful of seconds shot in their backyard. The camera is aimed at a dense tangle of roots and overgrown vegetation, thick and knotted, the kind of undergrowth that looks like it would shred you apart just trying to push through it, and then your eyes land on something.
She couldn't find her way over there, so now she's over here. She's back in here trying to fucking find a way into my property. Do you see her? Look at that face. Oh my god. It's right there staring at me. Dude, how fucking scary is that shit? Oh my god, dude. What the fuck?
A pale, weathered female face gazes out from between the roots. She's completely still, showing no reaction, and whoever is holding the camera makes no attempt to move in for a closer look. What really gets under your skin isn't only the face itself, but the specific location where it shows up. According to old folklore traditions across both Appalachia and Europe, witches were thought to inhabit liminal spaces, the thresholds between the known and the unknown. The footage cuts out with nothing resolved and no one moving.
Nick ไม่ได้อยู่ใกล้กันไว้
Right out of the gate, this one delivers. A group of friends decided to explore an abandoned building together, and when one of them gets frightened by something lurking in the dark, you can make out a completely black figure with an unsettling silhouette. Could be a demon, could be something else entirely. Drop your theories in the comments below.
The man quickly leaves towards his friend. He thought he was safe, but when he pans the camera upwards, the figure seems to stand right beside him. You could also hear strange laughs while he screams.
Then, just moments later, one of the other friends gets hit with their own jump scare, and this time there's something even stranger, a green light glowing in the darkness. This footage was captured back in 2010 by a college student named Ariane B during a school excursion to Corregidor Island in the Philippines. This storied military fortress is a site where countless Filipino and American soldiers perished throughout World War II. What began as a lighthearted, enjoyable trip took on a far more unsettling dimension years down the line, when Ariane went back through the footage and spotted something that stopped her cold. As the group made their way through the battery grub section of the fort, a mysterious figure can be spotted darting across the second floor in the distance. The recording was never meant to be anything more than a casual memory, yet it inadvertently turned into a piece of unexplained evidence. When you look closely, the figure doesn't convincingly resemble a person, and it doesn't line up with any recognizable animal either. It appears for just a moment and then disappears entirely. Ariane has stated that at the time of filming, nobody else was up on that second floor. She later reached out to locals who told her that sightings of soldier spirits from World War II have been reported there by many people over the years, and this clip may just be confirmation of that. Still, a number of viewers weren't convinced, arguing that the figure was nothing more than a stray dog wandering through. But does that silhouette honestly look like a dog to you? That's a tough one to call. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. Two girls find themselves stranded in their car late at night, terrified and frantically dialing 911 after a horrifying encounter.
Emergency, what service?
Police.
The footage you're about to see follows a pair of friends who decided to fire up the Randonautica app in the dead of night to put it to the test. For anyone unfamiliar, Randonautica works by letting you enter an intention, then generating a random set of coordinates somewhere nearby based on whatever that intention was, and the results tend to be deeply unsettling. These two chose unsolved mystery as their intent. The app then directed them out to a completely isolated location, and once they got there, they recorded something that will send a chill straight down your spine.
I know exactly where it is, and it's like a one-way dirt track.
Yeah, it's sending us down this random road.
Well, let's just... What the...
Oh my god, no, turn around. There's a fucking suitcase. Jasmine, no. Jasmine, no, turn around! What? No, just keep going, it's
Did you
fine.
get it? Did you
yes,
get it?
I got it, just keep going.
Because that's a bloody suitcase with, like, plastic and twigs. I swear it had, like, plastic wrapped around it.
What's this now?
Don't do that, I thought you saw something to my right.
No. Basically, it has just sent us.
Right along the roadside at their designated spot, they came across a suitcase with some kind of liquid seeping out from it. Too frightened to step outside and check what was inside, they stayed put. And for good reason, since there have been documented cases where Randonautica coordinates have led people straight to human remains. They made the call to contact law enforcement instead.
What service?
Police.
Yeah.
There was liquid coming out of it, and we didn't know if that was, like, something we should report or not.
So, tell me about the suitcase.
It was... We've actually got...
Officers arrived and took the suitcase away, but never revealed a single detail about what was found inside it. What made things even more disturbing, though, was what the girls discovered when they reviewed their own footage afterward. Lurking just beyond the tall grass, partially concealed and completely still, is a shadowy figure watching them from the darkness. Whether it's some kind of humanoid entity or simply a person is hard to say, but a number of viewers believe it was someone wearing a ghillie suit, using both the suitcase and the app's coordinates as bait to draw on unsuspecting targets.
I do not know what that is. What is that? This is an outline of whatever this is. Tell me that does not look like the same thing. I can't. This is the police call, by the way. As you can see, we are calling the police by this time, and out the window, I checked multiple times and I did not see anything. If that is the same thing, it would have followed us from the location to the place we made the police.
The two girls are now convinced that Randonautica has ties to a human trafficking operation, and many online believe the app itself is connected to the dark web. If any of that is true, the moment they chose to stay inside that car may well have saved their lives. No original source has been tracked down for this one, but the footage shows a woman filming herself in the middle of a makeup tutorial when something absolutely chilling gets picked up on camera.
Ini gunanya tuh bisa untuk mencerahkan kulit wajah kita, ya biar jadi lebih apa ya, lebih glowing gitu. Aduh, oke, kita ulang lagi ya teman-teman ya. Jadi pertama-tama kan kita pakai yang gold serum ini. Gold serum ini tuh memang gunanya untuk mencerahkan. Aduh, aku stres. Aku ya ampun, tangan mama aja kedingin, tangan dingin. Aku lagi mau bikin konten.
A dark figure shoots past her in an instant, catching her attention just enough that she glances toward the corner of the room, only to find nothing there. She shakes it off and carries on, but then a door behind her slams violently shut out of nowhere, sending her sprinting out of the room. A lot of people who watched this felt her panicked reaction looked completely real, but ultimately, you're the one who gets to decide what to believe. These next clips come from a TikTok account you can see on screen right now, one that's actually appeared on our channel in the past. The account is run by a guy named Nate, who both lives and works on cemetery grounds and regularly posts footage documenting the unsettling things that take place around him. Over the last several months, followers have watched the activity surrounding him grow increasingly disturbing, and Nate himself says things have recently taken a serious turn for the worse. He's now convinced that whatever presence has been lurking inside his home has begun following him outside of it. One night, he jolted awake after hearing what sounded like his name being called up from the basement, so he jumped in his car and started driving around just to get his head straight. At some point during that drive, he glanced up at his rearview mirror and thought he could make out a figure seated in the back. That prompted Nate to film a new update for his followers, walking them through exactly what had gone down that night. But once the video went up, people in the comments started picking up on something else entirely lurking in the background. Something that sent a chill through a lot of them.
So, it is currently like 4:51 in the morning. I was woken up at like 3:30 to the sound of a deep voice calling me from my basement stairs, or basement, somewhere downstairs. I woke up, went downstairs, checked the house, nothing. I had to leave. I had that really heavy, oppressed feeling. So I just started driving, and as I'm driving, I look in the mirror and swore I saw somebody sitting in the middle back there. So I'm just currently parked. Don't know what to do. I just want 4 or 5 hours of sleep at least. I've had people suggest calling a priest or a Native American shaman or a medium. If anybody has any recommendations, please tag them below or comment them. I thought all this was done when I opened the cemetery back up, but it's clearly not. It just gets to the point where I feel like I'm just losing my grip on reality. Like, I don't know what's dreams, what's real. It's really taken a toll, and I can really use some guidance. So if anybody has any suggestions, please.
As Nate walks through the events of that evening and explains why he suddenly pulled over, faint disembodied whispers become audible somewhere behind him. Many viewers have now come to believe that whatever entity has been haunting that cemetery may have latched onto Nate personally, and the situation only grew more alarming with his next upload.
Hearing something down here. Guys, it is like 3 in the morning, I think. 3:30 in the morning. 3 in the morning. But I'm hearing a deep, deep voice down here. Such a deep voice I'm hearing. It woke me up out of a dead fucking sleep. And it just said, "Come here. Come here." Like, I thought I was in a fucking dream, but what the hell? I'm going fucking crazy. Like, I woke up, I thought it was in a dream. So I woke up, jumped up, and I didn't hear it, so I laid there for a second. And then I was hearing it again. And it was like such a deep voice. It was just saying, "Come here." And the dog was just frozen on the bed. She would not come downstairs. Like, I don't know if she was waiting for me to come down, but she would not come downstairs at all. Oh. Okay, so she just came down. Oh, it made me jump. What the hell was that? What the fuck was that? Did you hear that, baby?
In that video, he revealed that he's been hearing 3 heavy knocks in the night, and they tend to occur at almost the exact same hour every time. What makes that particular detail so deeply unsettling is the widespread belief that unexplained knocking in sets of 3, especially in the dead of night, is tied to demonic forces, particularly when it falls around 3:30 a.m., a time some refer to as the Devil's Hour. Given everything Nate has been going through, a growing number of his followers are genuinely worried about his well-being. Some are even pleading with him to reach out to someone with real experience handling paranormal situations before whatever this is escalates any further. So where do you stand on all of this? Do you believe something has truly attached itself to him? And if you were the one living through it, what would you do? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. At night, while the household was fast asleep, a motion alert came through for a Wednesday evening, but it wasn't until the following morning that she noticed it and decided to check the footage. She had no reason to expect anything unusual, but what appeared on that screen made her blood run cold. Just beyond the front door, something strange and completely inexplicable was hovering in the darkness. A shapeless anomaly drifting through the night air. The peculiar form floated out of view, then eased its way back across the frame, giving a clearer look at whatever it was. This thing was no person, and it doesn't match the silhouette of any animal or insect either. To this day, the homeowner, and frankly all of us, are left wondering what on earth was prowling around outside her front door. In this next clip, a woman lies in her bed and suddenly directs her gaze and her finger toward the ceiling above her. Her daughter, Erica Ponce, had already grabbed her phone to record because this wasn't an isolated incident. Lately, her mother had been behaving differently, speaking about things and responding to something that nobody else in the room could perceive. Erica describes her mother as someone who had always been in good health and incredibly close to her, less like a traditional parent and more like a best friend. The two regularly spent time together, whether that meant catching baseball games or heading out on shopping trips, until her mother received a terminal diagnosis. As the illness progressed, those cherished moments gradually faded away.
Good morning. Had a really bad week.
Over time, her mother began responding to things that were completely invisible to everyone around her. Then, one day, Erica captured one of these episodes on camera, and what she recorded left her utterly without words.
Angels.
And where are they at?
Ceiling.
On the ceiling? I don't see anything, Mom. I don't see anything. You see them? I don't see anything. Are they making you happy?
Yes.
Yeah? Well, that's good. How many?
4.
4? 4?
Her mother appears to be fixated on something up on the ceiling. Erica has come to believe it may have been angels, particularly given that her mother's passing was expected at any point. Many viewers chimed in with their own experiences, noting that people nearing the end of their lives sometimes seem to recognize deceased family members or other comforting presences. Whatever the explanation may be, the footage gave Erica a deep sense of peace following her mother's death. To her, it felt like one last gift. Reassurance that in her final moments, her mother was neither frightened nor alone.
Angels.
And where are they at?
A young woman named Lauren was jolted awake in the middle of the night when her dogs grew agitated and began clawing frantically at the bedroom door. Disoriented and on edge, she picked up her phone and peered through the window. Everything outside looked ordinary at first, until a sound broke the silence.
Luna, come here. Sit. Come here. Can't see.
3 deliberate, unhurried knocks rang out from somewhere near the front of the house. Then a dark silhouette drifted slowly past her window, a pair of red glowing eyes cutting through the blackness. For a moment, the figure came to a halt and turned its gaze directly toward where she stood, as though Lauren herself was the one being watched. Her dogs continued to growl as the knocking persisted. She edged cautiously toward the hallway, trying to make sense of who or what was out there. Who on earth would show up at that hour? Then, just as the sounds finally faded, a hushed voice floated in from outside, whispering her name in a soft, deeply unsettling tone. Overcome with fear, Lauren bolted the door to her room and dialed a local priest. Even now, the morning after and beyond, she insists those same slow knocks still find their way back after midnight, particularly during Chinli. Our next segment features a Thai paranormal investigator and adventurer who has built quite a following thanks to her fearless live streams. She regularly ventures into derelict structures throughout Thailand, sometimes with company, but more often completely on her own. Throughout her years of exploration, she has documented an enormous number of unexplained events and eerie figures on film. In a video from May 2026 that we've dubbed into English, she finds herself inside an abandoned event hall when something utterly strange unfolds. See for yourself what her camera picked up.
You saw that too, right? You saw that too, right? It was like a faint black shadow. A faint black shadow running. Everyone. Oh shit! A rat? Whoa! Shit, run! Rat? Come on out, baby. Come out. Holy shit, if you're so tough, run at me. Whoa! Oh shit! Oh, it walked out of the bathroom. It walked out. It walked out. It walked out. It walked out. Whoa! There it is! Oh shit. 2,500 viewers. Guys. Wow. Wow. Wait. Whoa! Oh shit!
Paying close attention to everything happening in this live broadcast, the whole encounter is genuinely chilling. While she's filming and telling her audience about something she spotted moving along the rooftop, a very small dark shadow figure suddenly shoots across the background from right to left. The entity is strikingly tiny and moves in an odd, almost extraterrestrial way that bears no resemblance to human movement whatsoever. After sweeping the surrounding area for a moment, the mysterious figure shows up a second time, moving in the distance. Even though she's clearly shaken, she pushes forward with her investigation. But as she gets closer to a darkened room, her camera picks up that exact same shadowy shape standing completely motionless in the doorway, silently watching her every step. That final appearance is her breaking point, and she immediately cuts the stream and flees to safety. So, what's your take? Some of the most compelling cases of ghostly and paranormal encounters involve multiple unconnected people sharing strikingly similar experiences. That's exactly the situation with Casey Lee and Josie Sanchez, two women who had never crossed paths in their lives, yet each uploaded eerily alike footage to their social media pages. Casey explains that her husband Chris had passed away roughly a year before the clip was recorded. In the footage, shot by a living room security camera, Casey can be seen speaking as though she's addressing Chris's spirit directly, and then something happens that moves her to tears.
Chris, please watch over Boston. Daddy's got you, okay? I'll make sure you're okay. I think he'll make sure I'm okay too. Really? Oh my god, I couldn't have timed that any better. I hope those cameras pick that up. That's insane.
While Casey is talking to what she believes is Chris's presence, the lights in the room noticeably flicker. That moment convinced her that Chris was somehow hearing her from the other side. She kept the video to herself for more than 2 years before deciding to share it, and once she did, the comments poured in. Some viewers expressing their belief that Chris truly was there with her that evening, while others cautioned her against placing too much faith in whatever entity might be reaching out. One commenter even raised the unsettling possibility that the presence behind that flickering light wasn't Chris at all, but rather something else entirely, masquerading as him. Meanwhile, completely unaware of Casey's story, Josie Sanchez was going through her own grief after recently losing her father. She was alone at home one night following an exhausting and emotionally draining day, wishing he could be there beside her. And that's the moment things took a turn that closely echoed what Casey had gone through.
Oh my god.
Just as in Casey's recording, the lights inside Josie's home begin to flicker, but there's more to it than that. Josie specifically asks her father's spirit to toggle the lights on and off as a sign, and within seconds, it happens. What makes Josie's experience hit even harder is how closely it mirrors Casey's, and these two women are far from alone. Countless others across the globe have reported encounters that line up with what both Josie and Casey went through. So what's your take on these videos? Could they be genuine proof of something beyond our understanding? Drop your thoughts in the comments. It's 4 in the morning. Everything should be still, particularly out in a snow-covered yard. A man posting under the TikTok handle Globalist Slayer USA uploaded a clip he says left him completely stumped. His security camera recorded something that night that he simply cannot account for. Out in the snow, footprints start materializing one after another, pressing into the surface as though something is moving across it. Yet nothing is there. No person, no creature of any kind. Just those impressions forming by themselves in the snow. So what exactly caused them? An unseen force or something far more grounded in logic that we just haven't figured out yet? Chances are we'll never get a real answer. What you're about to see was captured on a vehicle's dash cam, and it's genuinely unsettling. 2 Malaysian men were making their way down a road in the dead of night when something suddenly materialized ahead of them, sending the car veering off course and nearly resulting in a serious crash. Judge for yourself what they encountered. Just as the vehicle came around the bend, something emerged directly in the car's path, forcing the driver to wrench the wheel and skid off the road to avoid a collision. The passenger described the entity as vaguely human in shape, yet semi-transparent, ashen in color, and completely devoid of any facial features. He was adamant that there was no way this could have been an ordinary person. What lends this footage a disturbing credibility is the fact that this very stretch of road has been the site of repeated, unexplained accidents over the years. Many believe the mysterious figure lurking on that road could be the force behind those crashes. So, where do you stand on this one? Not long ago, a woman took to social media to share a deeply unsettling story about the home she, her husband, and their young son had moved into roughly a year prior. From her account, the sense that something wasn't right began almost as soon as they arrived. In the beginning, it was subtle, small, difficult to explain details, a persistent feeling of unease, like they were never truly by themselves within those walls. But as the weeks passed, that unease only grew more intense.
Wanting to know what kind of activity we've kind of experienced since we moved in here. And I can tell you that the activity started pretty much right away, like pretty much immediately. So at first it was just like hearing little noises here and there. That escalated to hearing voices. We both have heard like men and women and children voices. So sometimes that makes me wonder if there's multiple things going on in here, multiple ghosties in here. So like the first week that we moved in here, we have this Bible sitting here above our bed, and we heard a huge bang, And we came in here and it was on the floor. So something had knocked it over. Both my husband and I have smelled cigarettes like often. Both of us do not smoke. This house is very clean, but just randomly we will get...
Desperate for answers, the couple chose to set up security cameras in nearly every room throughout the house. And during what appeared to be a completely normal evening as she was getting her son settled into bed, something deeply strange was recorded. Pay close attention to what unfolds. Out of nowhere, a ball starts moving across the floor with no one near it. What makes this even more disturbing is that the motion doesn't look accidental. The way it travels suggests purpose, almost as though an unseen hand is guiding it. But what follows immediately after is, somehow, even harder to shake. As she exits the bedroom and makes her way to another area of the home, the camera picks up something new entirely.
Wash my hands.
A mysterious voice can be detected whispering something nearly impossible to make out in the background. The sound is faint, eerie, and enough to shift the entire tone of the recording. The woman says she's been completely unable to come up with any rational explanation for what has been occurring inside the house, and while many viewers believe it points to some form of paranormal presence, she says there is only one thing she truly wants: for whatever inhabits that house to leave her family unharmed. Cara Messina resides in a centuries-old home in New York State, constructed sometime in the 1800s and carrying a deeply troubling history. During the early to mid-1800s, the property served as a stop along the Underground Railroad, the secret network that helped enslaved people flee toward freedom. Those escaping the South were forced to shelter beneath the house to evade capture by authorities. Given its haunting past, Cara suspects the home may have a paranormal presence, and she's mentioned that her family has experienced what she describes as various ghostly occurrences over the years. So on this particular day, Cara and her daughter are just hanging around the house when an unusual sound begins drifting up from the basement.
20 minutes I've been sitting on my couch and it's been dead silent, and all of a sudden I hear Santa, and I thought it was coming from outside and it's not. And this is my basement. Summer. Oh, tell me it's in the same box as Chucky right now.
Yeah, it's right there.
What?
Yeah, it's in there.
Right, but it hasn't been touched, and all of a sudden after all of these months.
Cara's daughter digs through a box, which, ironically, happens to contain a couple of vintage Chucky dolls, only to discover that a Santa figurine has somehow switched itself on and is chattering away despite the power being in the off position. But here's where things get even stranger, something that viewers only caught after the footage was posted online. Because did you notice it?
Right, but it hasn't been touched, and all of a sudden after all of these months.
The moment the Santa figure is lifted up and goes quiet, you can faintly make out a voice crying out, "No, stop." So is Cara's basement genuinely haunted? Is that little Santa figurine playing host to some restless spirit? Or could this all just be a bizarre string of coincidences? You decide. Dog Wild, an adventure YouTuber who's built his channel around camping in the wilderness with his dog Yeti, decided to take on the notorious Skinwalker Mountains. And as the two made their way down a deserted dirt road close to sundown, Yeti's behavior suddenly shifted into something unsettling.
This little trail, she slowed down and she wants to show me. See, she's right there. She's not running. She's not got the zoomies as she normally does. She's staying close by. She's scenting something. but she's been on this trail. At this point, no, normally I'd like to be headed home, but yeah. If she wants to show me something, she wants to show me something. Huh, Yetzer? He was checking out. Mister. Looks like a... Oh dear.
Just a few minutes after that, Yeti pulled him towards something once more, but this time there was a different energy to it entirely.
Yes, Yester. Creepy, huh?
Then, just as he started moving away from the spot, everything changed.
I don't know. I definitely saw lights. Caught the video also. I took a look. I don't know. Obviously, maybe we kind of did the same thing, and we all turned our lights off and moved away. But when I turned around, I couldn't see the lights anymore.
He wasn't alone, and everything about the place.
This clip was recorded during the devastating blizzard that tore through Buffalo at the close of 2022, and yet, despite the wall of white and near zero visibility, a peculiar detail caught the attention of countless viewers. If you study the right-hand side of the frame closely, you can just make out what appears to be a tall, slender figure with strangely elongated limbs, standing completely still at the edge of the road. The silhouette bleeds through the driving snow only faintly, its arms extended outward as if reaching in the direction of the street ahead. A number of people watching the footage swore the shape shifted ever so slightly for a second or two. Others were quick to suggest it might have been nothing more than a Halloween prop that nobody had gotten around to taking down. But set against the haunting, blinding whiteout of that storm, the outline was unsettling enough to convince plenty of viewers that something otherworldly was lurking silently out there in the chaos. So what's your take on what this actually was? Drop your thoughts below. I'd genuinely love to know. A night shift worker at a school somewhere in the United States has been recording the unsettling experiences he keeps having while alone in the building after hours. He claims that once the last students and staff have cleared out, the silence doesn't last. The footage opens in a fog-drenched parking lot before he makes his way inside, whispering to the camera that nobody else should be there. As he walks the darkened hallways, the vibe shifts immediately. Long corridors disappear into blackness, red exit signs burn faintly in the distance, and the whole place feels like a completely different building once the lights go down.
Listo. Les digo, y estoy yo solo.
The clip builds through several unsettling moments, and each one makes it a little harder to write off as nothing. A loud mechanical whirring kicks in the instant he pauses near a restroom sign, with no obvious source anywhere around him. Then he spots a yellow cleaning duster somehow jammed high up against the wall near the ceiling, not dropped on the floor, not resting on a shelf, but wedged somewhere that genuinely doesn't add up. Further along the corridor, a door drifts open on its own in the pitch dark. But nothing in the clip is more disturbing than what happens near the end, when a faint laugh drifts through the empty hallway, and it sounds unmistakably like a little girl. Nobody has ever offered a satisfying explanation for that laugh, and it's the one detail viewers keep coming back to. A school after dark is already the kind of place that puts you on edge, but the sound of a child giggling in a building that's supposed to be completely vacant pushes this footage somewhere far more chilling. So, was this all just a perfect storm of building sounds, weird acoustics, and unlucky timing? Or is there something still roaming those corridors long after everyone else has left for the night? Content creator going by the name Stanitov55 posted a video to YouTube Shorts back in June 2018, filmed at his sister's place in the early hours of the morning, specifically around 3 a.m., where he manages to catch something that's hard to rationalize. We watch as he points his camera at a desk lamp sitting right in front of him, and it's unmistakably switched off. But the moment he turns the camera toward the mirror on the wall, the reflection of that same lamp is glowing. Danitar even noted in the description that no other light sources were active anywhere in the room during the recording. So how exactly is the lamp showing up as illuminated in the mirror when it's visibly off in the actual room? The whole situation has that eerie, unsettling quality you'd expect from something straight out of a classic anthology horror series. A number of viewers have also flagged what might be a shadowy figure lurking beneath the table, though it's not easy to confirm. The very next night, he uploaded a follow-up, and here's what that footage showed. On the second night, everything looks completely unremarkable. The reflection lines up with the room perfectly, just as it should. One rational theory is that a small residual current may have still been flowing through the lamp, producing a faint glow that wasn't detectable from where Danitar was standing, but could be picked up by the camera via the mirror. Certain older or lower grade LED bulbs are known to do exactly that, emit a dim light even after being switched off. Even so, the difference between the two nights is striking, particularly given how noticeably bright that reflection looks in the first clip. So where do you land on this one? Was it simply a quirky visual fluke, or did Danitar stumble onto something that doesn't have an easy answer? In the following clip, a group of Spanish-speaking witnesses document a restless night that keeps escalating in ways that are difficult to dismiss. The first comes from a man who got up to use the bathroom just before midnight and noticed something strange at the far end of his dimly lit hallway. A long corridor with a worn checkerboard floor, a refrigerator to one side, and a darkened living area beyond. He says he was completely alone downstairs, and that thought clearly stayed with him as he stood in the doorway, phone in hand, listening. Watch.
Ya había cortado el video, pero escuchen. ¿Hola? están escuchando, ¿no? ¿Escucharon? Yo me levanté de pues, mis necesidades. Vamos a ver. Me llevo este filtro, se ve chido. Che, fantasmita, se ve medio macabrón, Vamos a ver aquí en el baño, en el console. No, creo que no se ve nada, ¿verdad? A ver, espérame, lo cambio. No se ve nada. No se ve nada, raza. Mejor me voy para acá. Si ustedes captaron algo, racita, pues por ahí. Déjenlo en los comentarios, va. Ahí nos vemos. A ver ahí, a ver, aguanten. Si vieron algo, déjenlo en los comentarios, raza.
What you hear in that footage is what makes it unsettling. A sequence of faint rhythmic tapping, then a light scraping or shuffling from somewhere deep in the hallway, and finally a loud series of metallic clinking and rattling that lasts nearly 20 seconds with no visible source. Some viewers familiar with cases like this point to a concept sometimes called residual haunting, the idea that a space can hold onto patterns of movement or sound and replay them involuntarily, like an echo that hasn't figured out it has nowhere left to go. Skeptics would say old houses make noise, especially at night when everything else goes quiet, but the scraping and the rattling are two very different kinds of sounds, and they happen in sequence, which is harder to attribute to settling walls or a drafty hallway. He asks his viewers in the comments if they caught anything he might have missed. The second clip comes from the same man, also awake deep into the night. Almost 4 a.m., he says, lying in bed when his gaming chair suddenly lit up on its own. Take a look.
¿Qué tal, jinetes? Buenas noches. No puedo dormir, me siento un poco mal. Estamos aquí descansando. Perdón, hija, ya le desperté. Se acaba de prender mi silla. Solita. No hay manera de que eso pase, porque se prende con control. Pues todo está apagado, obviamente. La computadora está apagada. Esto siempre está así, que es como la tarjeta madre y está prendida siempre. Pero la silla se acaba de prender solita. Así nomás de bueno. Neta, de la nada. Se prendió así sola. Como ven, raza. Ven que el otro día dicen ustedes que se movió. Que cuando me levanté yo, se movió la silla. Bueno, pues ahorita se acaba de prender. Son casi las 4 de la mañana. Ahí está. Y repito, no hay manera de que eso haya pasado porque se prende con control. Y de hecho, pues el control está allá, acá, en esa cajita. Ahí está el control. Y mira, ahí se prendió solita. Vean, de hecho les voy a mostrar para que no digan que yo lo tengo acá. No voy a hacer ningún corte. Nada más me voy a levantar. Y de hecho lo voy a apagar aquí. Aquí está el control. Es este. No, es este. Chequen. ¿Ven? Así es como se prende. Y el control, ustedes vieron, lo acabo de sacar acá. Este sí yo lo dejé así, el micrófono. Yo lo voy a apagar igual. Pero la silla estaba apagada así. Y de la nada se prendió. ¿Qué opinan ustedes? ¿Falla técnica? ¿O alguien se quiso comunicar? Los leo en comentarios.
He gets up calmly to demonstrate something important. The chair runs entirely on a remote control, and the remote was sitting on his desk across the room the whole time. He cycles through the colors to show it works, then turns it off and sets it back down. Some would argue a power fluctuation or an electrical fault could trigger LED strips under the right conditions, and that's a reasonable explanation. Others think electronics activating on their own in the middle of the night, especially in a quiet house when someone can't sleep, fits a pattern that investigators call intelligent response, where something in the environment reacts to the presence of a conscious person. But before you pick a side, if you look closely, a shadow figure passes through the chair, and to some people, that's a connection to the chair moving. But that's not all they've had to deal with. Another night, the couples are lying in bed, both listening to something terrifying. Listen closely. In Mexican and Latin American folklore, agitated animals near a home at night have long been associated with the presence of La Llorona, the weeping woman of legend, said to wander near darkened places searching for her lost children. Her approach sometimes heralded by restless animals before anything visible appears. Whether that connection feels meaningful or like pattern matching is up to you, but the sequence, dogs going frantic, then something striking the glass from outside, is exactly the kind of buildup that gets under your skin. In the next clip, the man replays footage from a previous night he spent in a cemetery and explicitly names what he believes he encountered there. Watch closely.
Hey. Hey. Aguanten. ¿Pasó algo? Hey. Aguanten. ¿Pasó algo? Hey. Hey. Aguanten. Déjame saber tu opinión en comentarios, no olvides regalarnos tu like, síguenos y comparte.
Between two brightly lit mausoleums, a tall, slender, dark humanoid figure moves quickly from left to right, appearing from behind one structure and vanishing behind the other in less than a second. The narrator calls it La Llorona outright, describing her in the original cemetery clip's audio as something both seen and heard that night. In the traditional legend, La Llorona is a tragic figure from Mexican folklore, a woman said to have drowned her own children and been condemned to wander eternally in grief, haunting riversides and dark places, her weeping heard before she's ever seen. Whether the figure in that footage is a person who happened to be walking through a cemetery at night, a shadow cast by the mausoleum lighting, or something that belongs to that older story remains a mystery. Now, in this next clip, a man films himself moving through his home at nearly 2 in the morning after being woken by something he can't immediately explain. He's already holding his phone when it starts. Loud, aggressive knocking at the front door, 5 rapid strikes, then 7, then 3 more in a row, each series harder than the last. Watch.
Son casi las 11 de la mañana. 1:52. Escucharon, me están tocando la puerta. ¿Quién?
es?
¿Quién está ahí? Voy a llamar a la policía. No mames, no hay nadie. No hay nadie, güey. Ay, no, atrás de mí. Oh, no mames. Ya me voy a ver.
He opens the front door, scans the porch, pans left and right, and finds absolutely no one there. The yard is empty. Whatever was knocking, it wasn't waiting around to be seen. He moves back through the house, catches his own reflection in a mirror, and visibly recoils. Then, the piano in the living room plays a single loud, discordant chord on its own, and when he turns toward it, the brass doorknob on the closet beside it starts rattling violently, shaking like something inside is trying to force it open. He opens it, just cleaning supplies. Then, a child's ride-on toy car rolls out from a dark doorway and stops in the middle of the hallway entirely on its own. He keeps filming. He walks into the kitchen, and the doorknob on the door leading to the garage begins rattling just like the first one did. He opens it and steps inside. What builds across this footage is exactly the kind of escalating pattern that makes cases like this harder to dismiss. Multiple phenomena, different rooms, different types of disturbances, none of them repeating the same trick twice. But it's what happens in that garage that seals it, because if you listen closely, you can hear it. A clear, sharp, disembodied male whisper saying, "Vait," which translates directly to "go away" or "leave." Some think the whisper changes the nature of what's happening entirely, because poltergeists aren't typically understood to speak, and a presence that issues a verbal warning carries a very different kind of intent. Skeptics argue the variety of events across one clip stretches credibility, suggesting a staged production, but his reactions track consistently from unease to outright terror, and he never stops filming. Whatever was in that garage with him, it didn't just want to be noticed, it wanted him out. So the real question isn't whether something was there, it's why it was so eager for him to leave. In this next clip, a lady films from underneath her covers in a dimly lit bedroom. The camera shaky, the room quiet except for something she can't explain. She claims she's been awake for 3 days straight, and if you listen to what's been filling the silence during that time, it's hard not to understand why. Watch. A dark figure briefly appears. It has a pale face and a dark silhouette, standing still just long enough to be noticed before slipping out of view again. At first, she figured it could be a hallucination caused by extreme sleep deprivation, which is known to trigger vivid visual distortions, especially in low-light environments. But after this video, she's starting to think otherwise. In folklore, this type of presence is often associated with so-called night watchers, entities described in various traditions as figures that appear during the deepest hours of the night, when a person is most vulnerable. In other legends, similar figures are tied to the idea of threshold spirits, said to linger near beds, doorways, and corners of rooms, places where visibility is weakest and attention slips first. Right now, the only question she's asking is how to get rid of it. So, what do you think? The following clips come from two separate homes, but they share the same unsettling pattern. Something moving through a space that no one can see, making itself known in ways that are hard to dismiss. The first was recorded by a home security camera on the night of April 16th of 2023, just after 11 p.m. The room is empty, lit only by the infrared glow of the camera's night vision, and at first it looks like any ordinary living room. A kitchen island, a couple of stools, a small cat sitting calmly on the floor. Nothing seems wrong. Watch. The stool slowly slides away from the island on its own. Then, a few seconds later, the jacket draped over it drops straight to the floor with no one near it. Those two events alone would be enough to unsettle most people. But then, from the far right doorway, a tall, semi-transparent shadow figure emerges and begins walking slowly and deliberately through the room. Some viewers think this is a classic residual haunting, energy replaying itself through a space, unaware of anyone watching. Others believe it's something more interactive, something that moved the stool and dropped the jacket before revealing itself, almost like a sequence. Shadow figures with that kind of humanoid form and deliberate movement are sometimes referred to as shadow people, a term used in paranormal communities to describe dark entities that appear solid enough to perceive but transparent enough to pass through physical space. The cat's casual, unbothered exit from the room is the detail that stays with you. Animals are often said to sense presence before humans do, and yet it simply walked away. The second clip is a very different kind of encounter, louder, more immediate, and personal. The man is inside his house at night when he and his partner in the other room both hear a knocking sound that seems to be coming from beneath the floor. He grabs his phone and heads outside into the rain to check. Listen closely.
Heard it too, right? I'll be right back. What the? It's raining in here. We just heard this knocking sounding. It sounded like it was coming from underneath the floor. God, why does this keep happening? It was really, really freaking loud.
As he touches the wooden crawlspace panel on the side of the house, 4 sharp, rhythmic knocks ring out from the other side of it. When he opens the panel and aims the camera down the long, dark crawlspace, the knocking comes back. Then, without warning, a single enormous bang erupts, sending him backward in shock. What makes this harder to explain is that the crawlspace is visibly empty. Nothing's in there. And yet the knocking returned clear and deliberate right as the clip ended, as if whatever was inside knew it was being watched. So what exactly responds to being touched from the outside? And how does he stop all these from happening? The following video was recorded by a man named Isaac, who recently moved into a house that has been passed down through several generations of his family. On the surface, it seems like a typical old home. Quiet, somewhat isolated, and filled with the kind of history that comes with buildings that have stood for decades. But once you learn what happened there long before Isaac arrived, the story begins to feel far more unsettling. The original owner of the house was a war veteran. After returning from combat, he reportedly struggled heavily with PTSD, and family members say there were nights when he would suddenly leave the house and hide outside, convinced he was hearing noises coming from a small shed in the backyard. He insisted something was in there, something moving and sometimes watching. Over time, his fear of that shed grew so intense that he eventually refused to go anywhere near it. Even during the daytime, he would avoid walking past it. Years later, Isaac says that same shed is the one place on the property that never feels right. From his bedroom window, he claims he has occasionally seen figures moving inside it. Other nights, he hears loud banging coming from the shed door, like something inside is trying to force its way out. One morning, while recording a video to answer questions from viewers about the house, something strange happened. Watch this.
I've been seeing all the comments, I've been seeing all the questions, and I wanted to make a video to answer those questions for you guys now. It's about 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. I can't sleep. So I figured, why not, right? So on to the first question. What happened to the video? Y'all hear that, right? Like that. Y'all see that?
If you look closely at the window behind him, a white figure briefly appears, then suddenly moves out of sight. And not long after that, something else happens. The door slowly opens on its own, even though no one else is there. Moments like that made viewers even more curious about the shed itself, so many began asking Isaac to go inside and check it out. Watch this.
Okay, so you guys have been asking me to take you in the shed and leave the phone in there. And I know it's been a little while since I put out a video regarding the shed, but a lot has been happening and I just truly needed some time. So I took it. But just to show you, it is locked, okay? And I'm going to immediately, no cuts, as per usual. Okay, so we are walking into, God, these dolls are creepy. We're gonna walk in, well, not walk in, but we're in here now. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and set this up. You guys got a good view, right? Windows, everything. All right, I guess I'll catch y'all. I'm out.
While Isaac is filming, a noise suddenly comes from one of the plastic containers, a sound that almost resembles a doll shifting or trying to move inside the box. Isaac later confirmed that when he checked afterward, there was a doll that wasn't inside its box. And if you're wondering, where did all those dolls come from? It turns out the granddaughter who now owns the property has a deep love for collecting dolls. Over the years, she filled the shed with them, hoping to eventually pass the collection down to her children. But after Isaac posted that video, viewers wanted more proof of what might be happening inside the shed. So they asked him to record another clip, this time from a different angle. Watch this.
And just so you know, Because somebody actually said in the video yesterday, of course it happens from behind the camera. That's what's behind the camera, okay? Solid wall. That's what's behind the camera, okay? Okay. I'm out. That wasn't supposed to happen. Maybe I should close the door softer next time. Let's go ahead and try that again. Okay? I'm gonna close it softly this time. Lord have mercy.
Isaac had already left the shed, yet something was moving inside. Some viewers believe the shed could be tied to the trauma of the veteran who once lived there, a place where fear and distress lingered long after he passed away. Others think the dolls themselves may be acting like vessels, objects capable of holding or attracting energy. Despite how uneasy it made him feel, Isaac kept receiving messages asking him to go back to the shed again, with many people claiming the activity probably only happened during the daytime. But that assumption turned out to be wrong. Watch this. This time, whatever might be inside becomes far more active. Objects begin shifting around the room and things scatter across the floor. Some viewers claim they can hear faint breathing sounds in the background, while others believe they hear a voice quietly saying "help" or possibly "let me out," while another sound resembles someone saying "get out." Ever since Halloween, Isaac says every single night he hears sounds coming from the shed, noises that suggest something inside is moving things around. So each morning he wakes up to see this. Watch this.
This is what I come into every single day. Y'all ask me why the shed. Look at this, dolls knocked over, turned around. Baseboards moved. Not baseboards, drywall moved, bed knocked over, powder all over the floor. This is what I come into every single day. You guys ask me why is the shed cleaned every single time I walk in here? It's because every single day I wake up, I have to come in and clean it because it's a mess. This is a regular occurrence. So you guys are gonna watch my morning routine. Somebody said lay it like this so you get a wider angle. I have a clip on the back, so there's no way. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. I don't. So let's maybe. Okay, maybe from here. Oh. Okay, it's about as open as a shot as I can get because I have to. Somebody said they don't have the energy to do this. Man, it's freezing out here. It's like 20-something degrees here in South Carolina, and I'm out here having to yet once again pick all this shit up. God, I'm freezing. Even the foam mattress is solid. Good God Almighty. Back in the days when I used to wrestle, I used to pray for.
While he's sweeping and talking about the temperature in the area, a voice can be heard quietly saying, "Who's there?" Another detail also caught viewers' attention. Many people said that simply looking at that object gave them a strange, uncomfortable feeling. Several viewers even asked Isaac to investigate where it came from and why it was inside the shed in the first place. For now though, Isaac hasn't found any clear explanation, so until more details come out, that shed in the backyard remains a mystery. This next video was recorded by Nate, a man many viewers already recognize because of the strange activity that has been happening inside his home for quite some time now. Recently, people began digging deeper into his past and discovered that he used to work in a cemetery. And ever since that detail came out, some viewers have started linking the disturbances in his house to something he may have unknowingly brought back with him from that job. Whether that connection is real or not is impossible to prove, but the things happening inside his home have definitely kept people talking. One morning, Nate was simply going about his routine when he suddenly heard knocking coming from his back door. At first it sounded normal, like someone politely tapping to get his attention. Naturally, he walked over to check who might be outside, but when he got there, this happened.
So I just thought I heard somebody knocking on my back door, but I looked out there and I saw nothing, so seems like the dog heard it too. Hello? It sounds like it's coming from the back door. It's locked. There's nobody there. What the hell? I don't understand this. What the hell was that?
Hello? I don't understand.
The knocking can clearly be heard, yet when Nate enters the kitchen, there's no one standing there. And if you listen carefully in the background of the clip, something else can be heard. A faint whisper that many viewers believe sounds like a woman's voice. This isn't the first time people have pointed out strange voices in Nate's recordings either. In several of his previous videos, viewers claimed to hear quiet murmurs or soft responses when Nate called out into empty rooms. Because of this, some people have started advising him to stop reacting to the activity altogether, saying that acknowledging it might only encourage whatever is causing it. But if we're being honest, that's a lot easier said than done. Imagine hearing someone knock on your door and simply ignoring it, especially when you're already dealing with things like waking up with unexplained scratches on your body, objects suddenly flying across the room, and sharp items being thrown around your home when no one else is there. At that point, curiosity and fear would probably make anyone want to check what's going on. Some viewers believe the whispers might be a form of electronic voice phenomenon, brief sounds that sometimes appear in recordings even when no one is speaking nearby. But considering everything Nate claims has been happening around him, the moment in this clip feels difficult to ignore. Whether this is connected to Nate's past work, something attached to the house itself, or something else entirely. For now, the situation remains unresolved. The following footage dates back to 2022 and was captured by a CCTV camera late at night, when the area was supposed to be completely quiet. Take a look. If you focus on the right side of the screen near the gate, you'll notice something unusual. A dark shape suddenly moves and then it disappears just as fast as it appeared. At first glance, many people suggested the most logical explanation: a camera glitch. Security cameras sometimes struggle in low light, especially when there's sudden movement, insects flying close to the lens, or changes in lighting that cause strange shadows to form. And in many cases, those explanations make perfect sense. But then, there are those who take the mystery a little further. Across many ancient cultures, there are stories suggesting that humans may not be the only beings that walk this world. Folklore from different parts of the world often speaks about shadowy figures, entities that appear briefly, moving along the edges of visibility, rarely staying long enough to be clearly seen. Some legends describe them as spirits passing between places. Others believe they could be remnants of something older, something that exists alongside us but rarely crosses fully into our world. Of course, there's no way to confirm anything like that from a single clip, but when a shape appears out of nowhere, moves like something alive, and then vanishes without a trace, it's hard not to wonder what exactly passed by. So was that a glitch, someone's shadow, or something else entirely? I'll leave that one for you to decide. Now in this next video, a man who has openly shared that he lives with severe schizophrenia decided to do something unusual. Because he often experiences things that others can't see, he started recording parts of his home at night, hoping the camera might help him figure out whether what he was seeing were hallucinations or something else entirely. One night, something strange happened and he caught it on camera. Seeing this, the man initially assumes it's just another hallucination, something his mind is creating. In the past, he developed a small trick to test whether something was real or not. Whenever he saw something unusual, he would open and close the drapes or change the lighting in the room, which usually helped make the vision disappear. So he tries the same thing again. He opens and closes the curtains, expecting the movement to stop. But this time, it doesn't. To this day, no one has been able to say with certainty what caused the movement that night. The following video was captured inside a hospital by Dave, a man who claims he's been gifted with sight since he was young. According to him, he doesn't just sense things, he sees and hears them. And he says spirits tend to follow him, especially in places where emotions are intense, like hospitals, cemeteries, abandoned buildings, places where life and death have crossed paths. While Dav was receiving treatment, he suddenly felt like he wasn't alone in the room. Watch.
There's like something in this room that is like moving, like the chairs. Move this shit right here. Oh, my bad. That shit hurt. But anyways, if there's a spirit in here, just let me know. You know. And sometimes things this is Kaiser. Oh, good. I felt like a really heavy presence in this room right when I walked in, but I just thought I see something sitting right there. I'm sorry. My phone. That's not good. There's a lot of things happening here. Even that door slowly opened and closed right now. If there's anything in here, just give me a sign. I'm here, you can okay, you can say anything. Just don't mess with my heart monitor or anything. That started to move. But it could be people up there. I just came up in here. Something in here, TV or something. Move anything you want. Let the people know that you're here. Speak into this thing. Show me your hair, presents. You could, I got a gift, and I'm not afraid. So if you decide to move anything, open that door again, I won't be frightened. What the hell? Oh. Whoa, shh. Excuse me, nurse. Oh, that's some activity. Excuse me. This thing fell. Right here. Yeah, I don't know. I maybe it just fell.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just sleeping and
Well, that scared you, huh?
yeah, it scared the shit.
I was worried. I thought you fell.
Oh, no.
I thought it wasn't you. Alright.
Okay, people, that was a scary situation. I know I didn't jerk, but yeah, it's ghost activity. Oh my god. Oh crap. Well, I got the gift, but I'm not gonna abuse it. I just asked for, little signs here and there. They showed them to me. Nothing to be alarmed about, people. didn't feel was evil at all. But whoa, I know you guys heard that over there. Woo! Anyways, God bless you guys. I'm not gonna entertain them anymore because I don't need my heart to go racing. God bless you guys. But anyways, I was gonna cut this video short, but right when I was gonna cut it short, something else happened. But I'm waiting for it to happen again. So this right here, mind you, this is the only sliding door that's open. But this right here pulled all the way back this way. So what happened last time was I was asking it for a sign, and it pushed over this metal thing right here. I had to tell the nurse I was sleeping because I didn't want her to think I did the shit, or I just told her I don't know. I didn't know what to, make up, but this shit is, it's crazy, And all I asked is for a sign, and they give them to me. But the thing is, I'm used to it under the signs, But in hospitals, there's a lot of activity, and I already know I'm gonna find something, that would give me a sign or whatever. Oh, just like that. That was up there under my sweater or some shit. Okay. I know you're not welcome here, so you can go back to wherever you come from. Cause I'm gonna take a nap. And this arm right here you can't do nothing with it. It hurts. So I gotta lay on my side right here. Hey people, God bless you, blessings, and man, pray for me.
If you listen closely, after he says, "I'm here for peace," a faint whisper can be heard saying, "Help," and then what sounds like "knife." That detail is what unsettled viewers the most. Some speculate it could be the spirit of someone who passed away in that very room, possibly someone connected to surgery or a traumatic procedure. Hospitals are places of healing, but they're also places of loss, fear, and unfinished stories. In paranormal theory, strong emotional events can leave behind residual energy, like a recording that replays under the right conditions. Others believe this could be an intelligent haunting, meaning whatever is there is aware and responding directly to Dave, especially since the whisper appears right after he speaks. During his stay, Dave also mentioned feeling a heavy presence near the chair in the room. He said the energy felt concentrated there, like someone was sitting and watching him, but when he looked, no one was there. Of course, skeptics argue hospitals are full of ambient noise, machines humming, distant voices, equipment moving, and audio pareidolia can make random sounds seem like words. According to them, when you expect to hear something, your brain can fill in the blanks. So was it simply hospital acoustics playing tricks on the ears? Or did someone or something in that room hear him when he said he came in peace and answered back? You decide. In this next video, Andrea is walking her dog late at night when something in the distance makes her stop. At first, she thinks it's just her eyes adjusting to the dark, but then she notices shapes that don't look quite right. So she pulls out her phone and starts recording. Have a look. In the distance, 3 shadow figures appear to be standing completely still. Some believe they could simply be people standing under poor lighting, their features swallowed by the darkness. At night, depth perception becomes unreliable, streetlights can distort proportions, and shadows can merge together, making ordinary figures look unnaturally tall or solid black. But others argue something feels off. In paranormal discussions, shadow figures are often described exactly this way: human-shaped, lacking detail, and usually seen in peripheral vision. They're said to be watchers, observers, and in some reports, they appear in groups of 2 or 3. The fact that there are 3 of them standing together raises even more concern for believers. Some theories suggest that multiple figures appearing at once could indicate something more intelligent or coordinated, not residual energy, but active presence. As for danger, most accounts claim shadow entities don't always attack, but they can induce fear, paralysis, or a feeling of being targeted. And fear is something certain entities feed off. Whatever they were, one thing is clear: they weren't moving, and they were aware enough to stand there while being filmed. Until clearer footage surfaces, what Andre saw that night remains a mystery. Now in this next video, a team of paranormal investigators visit an abandoned house that locals have refused to go near for years. The place has been empty for decades, and as many paranormal researchers will tell you, abandoned buildings have a way of holding onto energy. When houses are left to decay, especially ones tied to unknown histories, tragedies, or sudden departures, believers say the energy inside can become stagnant, trapped. So the team sets up their equipment: EMF readers, cameras, and most importantly, tripwires. For those unfamiliar, tripwires are extremely sensitive devices designed to trigger if something physically passes through them. Not wind, not distant vibration, but something crossing the line. As they begin asking questions, trying to provoke a response, this happens.
And see what's popping. Nope, that's not a new tripwire. That's the same tripwire that we use at the breakfast date, that I've used in other places. Okay. That door just opened up by itself. I didn't even get that far. Dude. This door just opened up by itself. Here we go. Wait. Crazy, right? That was me. I bumped into the table here. If you heard something rattle, that was me. But that door opening up.
The trip wires suddenly went nuts, and then, almost on cue, the door slowly opens by itself. Skeptics argue structural shifts could trigger the wires, but paranormal experts would say something else entirely. They believe abandoned spaces can act like containers, especially if something tragic happened there. If investigators actively try to communicate, they're essentially knocking on whatever door exists between worlds. And sometimes, something knocks back. Abandoned buildings already carry risk, unstable floors, toxic air, human squatters. But if something unseen is also moving through the halls, that's a different kind of danger. So was this structural coincidence, or did something in that house finally respond to being called out? You decide. The following video was recorded by a woman named Simone during what was supposed to be a normal evening walk. Watch closely. If you pause at the right moment, you'll notice a dark figure leaning against a tree before it suddenly darts away. At first, Simone brushed it off. Maybe it was a trick of the light, maybe someone was hiding. But what unsettled her wasn't just what she saw, it was what she felt after leaving the area. Even when she had completely walked past the tree line, she couldn't shake the sensation that someone was still behind her, matching her pace. On her way home, she passed a strange building she'd never paid attention to before. This time, she went in. As she steps inside the dark room, look toward the right side of the door near the end of the clip. Something shifts behind it. Simone later said that's when the idea first crossed her mind. What if whatever she saw near the tree wasn't random? What if it was watching her? A few evenings later, she passed the same building again, and this time she heard a voice that sounded exactly like her sister calling her name.
I don't know why the lights are on, but I'm going inside of this house. I just heard my sister's voice, and I'm sick of this. And I need to figure out what's going on so I can put a stop to it. Why is this chair in the middle of the floor?
Mimicking entities are considered particularly dangerous. They don't just appear, they imitate familiar voices to lure people closer. When Simone stepped inside, she noticed a chair positioned strangely in the middle of the room. Before she could even finish talking, she saw the figure again. After that encounter, she convinced herself the entity was attached to the abandoned house, not her. But that assumption didn't last long, because soon after, her own home stopped being quiet. Banging at night, footsteps when she's alone, whispers she can't trace, and an overwhelming sense of fear that comes without warning. One day, a friend visited after hearing everything, and this happened.
Hey guys, it's Simone again.
You kidding me?
Yeah. So I'm here with my friend Lexi, and I thought that this was over, but it's still happening. Something from this entity is still trying to get to me, so...
I thought you were kidding.
No.
Like, this is horrible.
I'm not kidding.
I don't know how you've been living like this. This is literally, like, I've checked this door 5 times. There's no way anyone is in the backyard.
So, still going on, and I just wanted to come back and report to you guys that it's still impacting my life every day.
I'm so sorry. This is insane.
Here's the unsettling theory. If the activity followed Simone home, then this may not be about a haunted location anymore. It could be attachment, a phenomenon where an entity fixates on a person rather than a place. And attachments, according to paranormal researchers, rarely fade on their own. It's hard to walk away from something like this without answers, but Simone isn't ready to stop investigating until she understands what's happening. Now, this strange video was posted on December 27th, 2025 by a veterinary hospital in Madison, Alabama. But what makes it even more unsettling is that the footage itself had reportedly been kept private for nearly 4 years. According to the clinic's owner, Renee, something happened that night that caused all employees on shift to stop what they were doing. Have a look.
That's weird. Where is that coming from? It don't sound like it's coming from. Okay, so you still want to do banana bags, 15 mils an hour, head of starch, 4 mils an hour. It's coming from over this way. Alright. Medication, metronidazole, 15 mil BID, IV. Wait, is it Scarlet? Clipped off. Wait. I clipped it off before getting meds. Is somebody dropping it off up there? What's coming from up there? They may have done that when they switched the bag. Is it the new bag free? No. Alright, who's gonna get it? Help me. It's coming from up there. No, it's not. Where is it? Is something in here? What is that? What, phantom bones? We all heard that. I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. What did you hear? A dog keeps yapping. Is it Dakota? No. Look at over here. Look at the front porch and make sure I didn't dump one or throw one in the pen outside or something. I didn't hear anything. You're not hearing that. Three of us heard it. I didn't hear it, no. You heard it, right? I heard it. I didn't hear it. You can't hear it coming from this side. You can't hear it at IPA though, right? No. Look at that fence out there. Make sure somebody throw one in the fence. I heard nothing. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Yeah, that's a brand new thing. That's talking to us. Yeah. Did you hear it? I haven't heard it. I still haven't heard it. All three of us heard it. And it was coming from that. It sounded like it was in that room or something. Like, it sounded like it was like right through the board. We're going to play that back. I didn't even hear anything. Can you play it like specifically in those rooms or anything?
After reviewing the footage, Renee says there was no logical explanation for what they witnessed. And this wasn't an isolated event. Over time, strange activity became almost routine inside the clinic. Dog kennels securely latched would open on their own in the middle of the night. Office supplies and lightweight equipment were found scattered across rooms that had been locked. Staff members reported hearing scratching sounds coming from empty runs long after the last patient had gone home. Sometimes motion sensors would trigger in rooms where no animal was being treated. For a veterinary hospital, that detail hits differently. Because this isn't just any building, it's a place filled with heightened emotion, fear, grief, relief, heartbreak. It's where some families say goodbye to beloved pets, and many pet owners will tell you that after their animal passes, they still hear the faint scratch at the door, still feel the weight at the foot of the bed, still think they see a quick shadow dart past in the hallway. Some believe animals, especially loyal ones, linger, and that's the theory whispered among staff, that perhaps some of the dogs who passed away in that clinic never fully left, that the scratching isn't imagination, and that the kennel's opening isn't mechanical failure. So what do you think? Is it residual energy, emotional imprints replaying themselves, or something else using the setting to its advantage? Renee says she doesn't know what's in her clinic, but she's no longer convinced it's empty after closing time. The following clip was recorded by a group of explorers who decided to enter an abandoned building surrounded by disturbing rumors. Locals claim that people go in and come out completely shaken, some reporting sudden dizziness, intense pressure in their chest, difficulty breathing, and an overwhelming feeling that they weren't welcome there. Others say electronics malfunction, footsteps echo through empty hallways, and objects seem to move on their own. The explorers went in hoping to communicate with whatever might be causing these experiences, but instead of answers, they encountered something that seemed to confirm every story they'd heard. Watch this.
Görüntü gidiyor, var bir şey. Var bir şey var. Görüntü gidiyor. Tamam, böyle dikkat. Biliyorum bir şey var orada. Kafamıza gelecekti Allah aşkına. Dokundu.
At one point, an axe suddenly fell, narrowly missing them. They were incredibly lucky it didn't land on anyone. Incidents like this raise unsettling questions about the kind of presence that could exist in places like this. Some theories suggest these spirits lash out when they feel threatened, disturbed, or when their space is invaded, especially in places tied to trauma, violence, or abandonment. Whatever was inside that building didn't seem interested in communicating, it seemed angry, and that makes this encounter far more dangerous than a typical paranormal investigation. Now, in this next clip, a family has been hearing strange noises coming from their basement. At first, they didn't think much of it since the sounds were faint, irregular, and easy to dismiss, the kind of thing you blame on the house settling or your imagination filling in the gaps. But over the next few weeks, everything changed. The noises started happening more often, they grew louder, and eventually impossible to ignore. Then, one night, while the family was asleep, a sudden, heavy noise from the basement jolted them awake. Instead of staying put, the husband decided to move closer to investigate. and that decision alone sent chills through viewers. Watch closely.
Hello?
Oh my god! After the footage surfaced, opinions were split. Some viewers insist it has to be an animal, something trapped or moving around below. But others aren't convinced. They point out that the footsteps sound human. So if it isn't an animal and it isn't just the house settling, then whatever made that noise was already inside the home, waiting in the darkest part of it. But I'll leave you to be the judge of this one. On the 14th of February, 2014, a man walks into a shop like any other day. Nothing about the moment seems unusual, but what no one inside the store realizes is that something else was inside the shop. Watch closely.
Look right here. Look right here. Right here. Look. Look, watch. What is that? What is that? And it's just gone, bruh. Look at this. It's there, and now it's not. It's there, and now it's not, bruh. What is that? Bruh. What is that? What is that? And then it's just gone.
The strange figure appears and disappears in a blink, so fast that the man didn't even sense that something was there. If it wasn't for the security camera, this moment would have passed unnoticed forever. Incidents like this raise an unsettling thought. How many things move through our world without us ever knowing? How many figures slip in and out of reality just beyond our perception? Too quick, too subtle, or too unexpected for the human mind to register? And even when footage like this does surface, many people still refuse to believe it. Some call it a glitch, others say it's a shadow, a reflection, or a trick of the camera. So what do you think? Was this an anomaly or a rare glimpse into something that's always around us, quietly passing through, unseen? In this next video, a woman captured a terrifying figure inside her own home. According to her, it's late at night, and she's replaying voice messages on her phone when an overwhelming feeling hits her, the unmistakable sense that someone is staring at her, not just a thought, not imagination, that deep instinctive awareness you get when eyes are fixed on you. Trusting that feeling, she lifts her phone toward the doorway. This is what she captures. A dark figure appears, peeking from behind the door, its shape just clear enough to suggest a face watching her. What makes this even more unsettling is that this wasn't the first warning sign. Before this moment, she says she'd been experiencing subtle things around the house. Doors left slightly open when she was sure she closed them, the sound of quiet movement at night, and that recurring sensation of being watched when no one else was home. Small things she brushed off at first. Until this. Many people say humans are wired to sense when they're being observed, even without seeing it. And moments like this make you wonder how often that instinct is right. Until she shares more updates, whatever was standing in that doorway and why it was watching her remains completely unsolved. Now, in this next clip, a couple shares footage from what was supposed to be a simple cave exploration somewhere in the UK. Nothing paranormal, no ghost hunting, just curiosity and a camera rolling. But like many explorers later admit, the strangest moments aren't always noticed in real time. They're discovered after, while reviewing the footage. Watch and listen closely.
I don't blame them. Imagine how many people you could fit in here.
Because you got here, look.
How am I going to fit through there? What? Seen all the spiders?
Yeah, have you seen them?
During the exploration, his partner becomes overwhelmed by spiders and quickly exits the cave, clearly shaken. He laughs it off at first, still filming, thinking the danger is gone, but seconds later, his mood changes. He suddenly freezes, then jumps back, reacting to the feeling that something is moving toward him from deeper inside the cave. At the time, he didn't hear anything clearly. It's only after rewatching the footage that they notice the sound at the very end of the video. Some viewers suggest it could have been an animal, even comparing it to a bear-like snarl, possibly disturbed by their presence. But others point out that caves are isolated, ancient, largely untouched, and act as natural amplifiers for phenomena we don't fully understand. In this next video, a family is together, laughing, catching up, and enjoying a quiet moment until something happens. Watch closely. Out of nowhere, the table shifts and the reaction is instant. Everyone runs. Some viewers believe this could be a prank, suggesting someone nearby might have been under the table or pulled the table. But according to locals, this area already has a reputation. Families in the vicinity have complained for years about objects moving on their own, furniture shifting slightly when no one is touching it, and sudden disturbances that happen without warning. That's what makes this moment harder to brush off. When objects move in shared spaces like this, especially during calm moments, many believe it's often the first sign something is trying to make itself known. Whether this was human interference or something far more unsettling, one thing is clear. The moment whatever happened made itself known, no one wanted to stay around long enough to find out what caused it. So what do you think happened here? Speaking of objects moving, the family in this next clip has been struggling with something they can't seem to explain. They'll leave items in one place, chairs pushed under the table, doors fully shut, small objects carefully set down, only to come back later and find everything shifted, rearranged, or completely out of place. At first, they brushed it off as forgetfulness, thinking maybe someone else moved it, or they just remembered wrong, but the patterns kept repeating. Eventually, they decided to document everything. What you're about to see is a compilation of the activity they managed to catch on camera. Watch closely.
Bruno! ¡Bruno! Se movió la silla. ¿Real? Sí. Tipo, es de arquitecta. De las torres. ¡Se movió!
To some viewers, this points to something trying to interact with the physical space, poltergeist-like behavior that focuses more on movement than appearances. Others believe it could be something residual, replaying energy over and over in the same areas of the house. They've been advised to send the footage to a priest, but until that happens, speculation continues. But what do you think? Is something attached to the house, or something dangerous followed them home? I'd love to know what you think about this kind of activity. Now, in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his investigation inside the historic Mabel Tainter Memorial Theater. This time, he heads back up to the top floor, returning to the main theater area to quietly film and listen for anything out of place. Watch closely.
It's like there's somebody up there. What the hell was that? Oh, shh, 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 shh. Oh my god, guys, it literally sounds like she's coming down these stairs. I smell perfume. What the heck? I smell perfume. And it's starting to feel colder in here too. Ma'am, you don't have to be shy. Feel free to come down and talk to me. Madam, what's your name? Oh my god! I heard that! That was a lady's voice! Thank you, ma'am. I heard you loud and clear.
As Ian stands alone in the creepy space, he suddenly notices a strong perfume smell beginning to fill the air. What's unsettling is that the scent doesn't fade. It grows stronger, almost as if someone is moving closer to him. Paranormal investigators often associate sudden smells, especially perfume, with spirit presence, particularly when there's no logical source nearby. Moments later, this happened.
Here. Hello? Oh, holy shit! Oh my god! Dude! I just fucking saw her right there! It looked like a woman in a dress. She walked into the hallway. I gotta follow her. She went down this way. Oh my god. Every hair on my body is standing on end. Where'd you go? I saw you go this way. I feel like I heard her say Mabel. It sounded like an M. Now that I think about it, that voice from earlier, it sounded like Mabel. I'm smelling that perfume smell again. Holy shit! Holy shit! No freaking way! Look at that! That thing just came undone!
This is where things take an even stranger turn. Ian believes he may have caught sight of a figure, possibly the infamous woman in white, briefly peeking out from behind the curtain. The combination of the intensifying perfume and the movement near the stage is enough to raise serious questions about what or who might still be lingering inside the theater. So what do you think? Lingering energy, a known spirit, or something else entirely? For more haunting videos including Ian, subscribe to the channel now. The following clip was captured by a woman named Madison, who felt the need to record what had been happening in her home after repeatedly telling her friends that something about her daughter's behavior didn't feel normal, only to be dismissed as overthinking or exaggerating. According to her, her daughter would mention seeing someone in the house, a man she described as her friend. At first, it sounded like the kind of imaginary companion children sometimes create, something harmless, something easy to ignore. But over time, the details became more specific. She would point to certain areas of the house, especially corners and spaces where no one was standing, and speak as if someone was actually there, responding, listening, present. And that's when it stopped feeling like imagination. One night, as they were getting ready to sleep, her daughter brought up a conversation. Watch.
Yeah, but what?
We hear something.
You can hear something?
Yeah.
What?
What is that?
Can you see something?
What is that?
I don't know. What is it? Huh?
Where? Where's it gone?
What?
Where's it gone?
What's gone?
Over there.
Huh?
Over there.
Over where?
There.
What do you mean?
In the right there.
What is it?
Oh no.
What is it, Billy?
What's that?
I don't know. What can you see?
Black.
Uh,
It's black.
he's black.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he talk to you?
He's coming.
He's coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
This coming.
Huh?
Bird's coming.
Yeah.
A baby's coming.
A baby's coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
What stood out to many viewers wasn't just the moment itself, but the mother's reaction. When her daughter pointed something out, she didn't laugh it off or dismiss it. She listened, she responded seriously, as if she understood that whatever her child was experiencing felt real to her. So was this simply a child's imagination taking shape in a quiet moment? Or was it a glimpse of something that chose to reveal itself only to the one person who wouldn't question it? You decide. In this next video, a woman named Laura had just finished baking cookies and was about to enjoy them. A completely normal moment in a calm, everyday setting, with nothing unusual happening and no reason to expect that anything strange was about to unfold. She's casually talking, relaxed, unaware that something is about to happen right in front of her. Watch.
This was completely whole. Completely whole. I'm just sitting here like la 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 la. I hear, I look over. That. It's.
If you pay close attention, one of the cookies suddenly breaks. Not slowly, not from being touched, but abruptly, as if something applied pressure to it from nowhere, right in front of her eyes, at the exact moment she's questioning how it could have happened. That's what makes this moment difficult to dismiss, even for critics, because the timing feels too precise, almost reactive, like whatever caused it responded to her attention, turning a simple question into something much more unsettling. So the question remains, was this simply an odd but explainable occurrence, or a moment where something else was at play, just out of sight? You be the judge. Now, this next clip touches on something a lot of people have pointed out over the years. The idea that houses with paranormal activity often seem to experience even more intense disturbances during renovations or remodeling, almost as if the process of changing the structure somehow stirs whatever might already be there. In this case, a Ring camera installed inside a home that was undergoing remodeling captured something unsettling. Watch. A faint but clearly audible voice is picked up on the recording, something that doesn't belong to anyone present. Moments like this tend to stand out even more because of the setting, a house mid-renovation, walls being opened, spaces being altered, the structure itself being disturbed. Some believe that when a home is remodeled, especially older ones, it can disrupt whatever energy or presence might have settled there over time, almost like uncovering or awakening something that had remained dormant. Others suggest that the noise, movement, and physical changes create conditions where activity becomes more noticeable, either by coincidence or by triggering reactions from whatever may be present. There's also the idea that remodeling removes boundaries, exposing areas that haven't been touched in years, which, for those who believe in it, could mean uncovering more than just old materials. For now, this incident remains without a clear answer. This next video was captured by a family's security camera, and when it was posted, it immediately divided opinion, because while the woman who shared it tried to rationalize what happened, many viewers weren't convinced it was that simple. Here's how she explains it. She's asleep when she suddenly hears her toddler crying out for juice, something that would normally be easy to respond to without much concern, but as she opens her eyes, she feels like she sees something in the room. Something unclear, something she can't fully process in that half-awake state, which prompts her to get up and check. Watch.
Oh shit! Oh my god, everybody's fucking screaming!
According to her, she believes she might have imagined it, possibly because she was still waking up, not fully aware of her surroundings. But the part that stood out to many people wasn't just what she thought she saw, it was the way her child was crying. It didn't sound like a normal request, it felt like the child was responding to something, not just asking for something. And then there's the timing, because this all happens around 3 a.m., a detail that, whether coincidence or not, tends to make moments like this feel even more unsettling, especially for those who associate that hour with heightened paranormal activity. Some viewers began to question whether what she thought she saw and what her child was reacting to might have been connected, suggesting that children often respond more directly to things adults struggle to perceive, especially in environments where something may already be present. And that's when she decided to share something else. 3 months earlier, the Ring camera had captured something she hadn't paid much attention to at the time, but after reading through the comments and questions asking if anything unusual had ever happened before, she went back and found this. Watch. If you listen closely, a voice can be heard saying, "I always have." The moment becomes even more unsettling when you consider what she had said just before that, asking her dad if he was still there with her, a question that, in itself, carries emotion, memory, and meaning, which makes the response feel less random and more connected, as though something was listening, and chose to answer. Now, whether these moments are related or not, whether that was her dad who responded or something else pretending to be her dad, and finally showed its true color that night her child was crying, until more is understood or additional evidence comes forward, what was captured in that home remains unresolved.